Yeah, I think it was a terrific stance that the AFL's taken in this, the domestic violence issue and the violence particularly against women. Men right around the world, but particularly this country, just need to be better. But I also don't want it to just be a tokenism, because I can remember 12 years ago, Jill Maher being murdered. So we've had 12 years. That was a tragic event that shocked the whole state, if not the country. Yet the same things are still happening. So hopefully this is a stance that's been taken by the game. A stance needs to be taken by government. A stance needs to be taken by the law to make the deterrence a lot stronger. Protect those that could be victims of domestic violence, and actually genuinely do something about it. So this is a terrific stance, brings awareness, but if there's no significant follow-up, then it's a waste of time. And I'll be really interested to see just what everyone actually does about it, because everyone needs to roll the sleeves up. We've got responsibilities, the male side of things, but so's our game, so's government, and so's society got a real chance to actually make some ground on this, rather than sit here 12 months' time or 2 years' time and government once again will apologise to the community for these tragic events that unfold, and we'll just be reminded that we've done very, very little about it again. So we've got a chance to actually do something about it now, and I applaud the AFL for taking that stance, but let's all band together and do something about it.
We saw the Giants, they went into a bit of depth on the matter. Did you speak to your players about it, or were there conversations about the matter at the club during the week?
Yeah, well, I think the most important thing is self-awareness in terms of your own family and your own connections and community and what's going on first and foremost. But in terms of the education with our players, it's ongoing, and our footy clubs have to confront a pretty significant issue in the last 6 to 12 months, which has been difficult. So to say that our club and our players haven't been aware of it is an understatement. We're very aware of it. We've been implicated. And given the tone of my earlier statement, it's time we actually did something about it.
And the game today, unfortunate not to get the win, but got out to that early lead, 2-goal lead in the first quarter, and then that Max King was pulled down. He kicks that goal, and then they kick 5 after that. It's 6 in a row there, and they get ahead and they end up winning the game. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, well, it was a pretty even game outside of the second quarter when they slipped away from us there. They just beat us in contested ball quite convincingly in the second quarter, and that gave them a lot of territory in the game, and they were able to score off it. And the stats would suggest that St Kilda won comfortably. They controlled the ball well. They won contested possession, and they won the inside 50 differential. But there were some good signs for our footy club today. The spirit with which we played didn't give up despite the scoreboard going against us at different stages. And I thought the effort of Core on King was they've had 60 something inside 50s, and King's only kicked the one goal. Which was from that down the ground free kick, and I thought his effort was strong. I thought McDonald was really strong, fierce in the contest, tackled really well. I think he had 7 or 8 tackles. Elmac, Convin is learning the game as a defender, and continues to do some good things. McKirch had another 30 touches this week, which is really important. We're just trying to teach him how to play the back end, and he's got a lot of growth and learning to do, but he's making some steps forward in that space. Big Sherry in the ruck, went up against Marshall and won the hit-outs convincingly, helped us with clearance, helped us with tackle pressure and that sort of stuff, but we just couldn't capitalise. The St Kilda midfield in general was, despite us winning the hit-outs, we couldn't capitalise on that advantage, and so there was some pleasing signs with the side today, but and if we continue to play with that type of endeavour, then we feel like a win's not too far away for us, but we just got to do it consistently. We were better over the 4 quarters this week than what we have been, but still it wasn't enough to get the scoreboard close. We worked really hard in the 3rd quarter to try to edge it back to get within a couple of goals or 3 goals by 3-quarter time, but they just scored a couple of goals late, and then the first 2 goals of the last quarter. So made it really hard to peg them back. But we thought we were in the contest, and we just didn't give up the fight for the whole day.
And it's a young team. A lot of this, it'll take a lot of time, as you've mentioned many times this season. But little things like you're up by 2 goals, Aiden Core pulling down Max King 100 metres away from the ball. Brad Hill running through for a running goal, getting a handball just freely, no one marking him. Then there was another one, they're out on the full, and then Memory just takes a mark, heaps of time to set up. These are little things that can be improved in no time. Yeah,
that's right. And we know we got some work to do, but once again, you try to continue to find the positives. For our supporters out there, they would have been excited to see the way George Wardlaw went about it in the midfield today. He had one of his better games, but he's a competitor, and most of our score involvements actually had George in it. So that's pleasing for us. That he continues to take some steps forward for us, and but you're right. We just need to clean up some of the things in our game that they got some. Easy goals, 50-metre penalty here or there, a couple of free kicks that could have been there or might not have been there. The roll of the dice sometimes goes against you. You just got to roll with the punches on those. But I didn't think we were too far out of the contest outside of the fact that we couldn't capitalise on some of our opportunities in and around the contest that gave them the territory with the footy.
What did you make of the Wardlaw collision in that last quarter?
Yeah, well, it was a fierce contest between 2 young kids that they played under 18s against each other last year. So it was great that they both kept their eyes on the footy, and great that Darcy was able to continue to play the game, and George was able to continue to play the game. But if you see the time the time when they collided, the footy was sitting right next to their edge. So great contest by 2 kids that are just finding their way in the game, and. We don't want to take that out of the footy, I don't reckon.
You feel it was just a normal football act, basically?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the fact that both of them continued to play suggests that it was exactly what we love about our game, and that's the ball's there to go and get, and two kids collided because it's a contact sport.
She's looked to spend a bit more time in the midfield.
Yeah, he spent most of the game in the middle of the ground. We want to try. Fisher and McKircher across half back, and she's started the game pretty well. He probably drifted out of it a little bit after half time, but he did some good things for us in the middle of the ground, and thought Fisher and McKircher did some valuable things in the back half. We just got to get our ball use and our overlap a little bit bolder perhaps. But we thought that Shees was a positive for us in the middle of the ground.
Did you use what happened in the last game you guys played against Saints as fuel to?
No, I didn't even mention it. Good way to steer clear. It cost me $20,000 that, so steer clear of anything that reminds me of that, especially my wife. She's not too keen on that.
And the mark differential almost doubled. They had marks as 128 to 69. Was that a frustration?
Yeah, well, they're really. I mean, I think at half time, they were taking Hill from half forward, and he was moving all the way through to. He's more or less playing like a half backer from half forward, and that's the way that he plays. He's got a big tank, as we know, and they were linking up with using him. So he had 15 or 16 touches in the first half. Malia Wanganeen, a lot of touches in Sinclair through the middle. All these sort of halfback creators had nearly 60 touches between them by half time. So, and a lot of that is uncontested marks. That's where they link up and start their game from the back end. They do it very, very well. We knew that was coming, but we just couldn't stop it in the early part of the game. We sent Tucker to Hill in the second half, and that quietened him down a little bit. But probably the damage had been done early in the game, and we were hoping they wouldn't be able to capitalise as well as they did. But we stopped the bleeding a little bit in the second half. But some of the damage had already been done.
Pink, did you consider bringing him on earlier in this? Maybe at half time or just after half time to reduce it.
Well, he came on, I think, halfway through the third quarter. But that wasn't going to. We addressed the Hill thing with Tucker, and that, as I said, that stopped some of the bleeding in terms of the uncontested marks. But they're a polished side when those three half backers can get the footy like they did today. Then it's going to be hard for them to stop, and we couldn't stop them getting the footy because we just couldn't get the territory on the ball from stoppage, and when we did get territory, then they were able to bounce it out with uncontested marks too easily.
What's the pass mark for North Melbourne this season?
We don't bother about that. That's a great media question. We just want to see progress in terms of our effort and little things like we saw today, the McKerchers and the Dersmers and the Sheasels and the Wardlaws and the Sherrys and the Powers and these guys that, some of the, in their first and second year at our footy club, and some are around, 4, 5, 6 years and starting to make some progress. Paul Curtis continues to be the damaging player for us in our front end. Another 3 shots at goal. He's quiet in the first half. He's manhandled a lot in terms of the way that he plays the game, and really, unfortunately, doesn't get more free kicks. But he plays the game in the right way, and I'm sure our supporters are liking the way that he's progressing. He's kicked 15 or so goals in about 8 games this year, and he's making some progress for us. But at some point in time, like we've seen with other sides, like as I mentioned last week, the Adelaide side that knocked us off last week, then goes and knocks off a really good side like Port Adelaide. But 2 or 3 years ago, the football world was talking about Adelaide like they're talking about North Melbourne right now, and then you just see their progress and some steps come forward for them pleasingly as these guys start to mature and play a lot of footy together. So that's the path that we're on, and we saw some evidence of that today, knowing full well that when we can put it together for 3 or 4 quarters rather than just bits and pieces, then we'll give ourselves a chance to win some games of footy.
We'll leave it there, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you.